Legends say the bloodline never dies.
The same when it wraps around them and crushes everything they were. This isn't a hunt anymore. It's a burial ground. And if we don't burn this...
Oh my god! It's bigger than anything we've ever seen!
Not today!
This isn't just any snake. This is the beginning of a new species.
This ends now.
Anaconda, Bloodline 2026, emerges as a bold new chapter in one of Hollywood's most enduring creature feature franchises, a saga that first began with the cult classic Anaconda in the late 90s. Over the years, the legend of the giant snake has returned in different forms, from direct sequels to television spin-offs, each aiming to capture the primal fear of an apex predator lurking in the depths of nature. But this new installment is just another rehash of familiar tropes. It's designed as both a revival and an expansion, with a bigger scale, a darker tone, and a narrative that delves into the mythology of the creature itself. Bloodline is not just about survival in the jungle. It's about heritage, legacy, and the terrifying realization that humanity may never truly tame nature's deadliest secrets. The film is anchored by a powerful cast that blends Hollywood veterans with rising stars, giving the story both gravitas and youthful intensity. At the center is Jessica Chastain, portraying Dr. Alina Pierce, a geneticist who becomes obsessed with the origins of the legendary snake species after her brother disappears during an expedition in South America. Alongside her is Diego Luna as Marco Alvarez, a former mercenary with knowledge of the river's darkest corners, whose loyalty is constantly tested as the group ventures deeper into uncharted territories. Adding another layer of star power is John Boyega, who plays Travis, a young environmental activist whose confrontation with the scientific team adds moral conflict to the narrative. Rounding out the ensemble is Michelle Rodriguez, cast as Captain Serena Valdez, a no-nonsense boat pilot with a haunting past tied to the river, and veteran actor Lawrence Fishburne as Dr. Malcolm Harlan, the enigmatic leader funding the expedition for reasons shrouded in secrecy. This combination of actors creates a dynamic blend of survival instincts, personal vendettas, and intellectual ambition. The plot of Anaconda, Bloodline is set against the vast, untamed wilderness of the Amazon basin, but unlike earlier films that simply use the jungle as a backdrop for monster attacks, this installment layers its story with mystery, science, and mythology. The film begins with the disappearance of Dr. Pierce's brother during a covert operation to gather rare botanical samples rumored to possess regenerative properties. Soon after, local tribes begin reporting unnatural disturbances in the river ecosystem, boats overturned, livestock missing, and horrifying sightings of serpents larger than any previously documented. Driven by both grief and scientific curiosity, Alina organizes an expedition financed by a shadowy corporation, unaware that the mission is tied to a deeper conspiracy involving genetic experimentation on the ancient snake species. As the group journeys upriver, the film gradually reveals the existence of a bloodline of mutated anacondas, larger and more intelligent than any before. These creatures are not random beasts of the wild, but part of a carefully guarded natural lineage, preserved for centuries and worshipped by local tribes as guardians of forbidden knowledge. The tension escalates when the team discovers a hidden temple, where cave paintings and skeletal remains depict generations of humans who attempted to control or harness the serpents, only to be consumed by them. The blend of science fiction and horror reaches its peak when Alina realizes that the corporation funding her mission intends to weaponize the regenerative DNA of the creatures, regardless of the catastrophic consequences. This revelation pits the group against not only the monstrous snakes, but also their own employers, raising the stakes far beyond survival. The film's second act is where the true carnage unfolds. Unlike previous entries that relied on singular snake encounters, Bloodline introduces multiple serpents of varying sizes and abilities, creating a sense of constant danger and unpredictability. Each character's arc is tested in brutal ways. Marco faces his past when he encounters tribes who remember his mercenary raids, forcing him to reconcile with the damage he caused. Travis emerges as a moral compass, determined to protect the jungle from exploitation, even if it costs him his life. Serena's hidden trauma is revealed in a harrowing scene where she admits that her family was killed years earlier by an Anaconda attack, making her return to the river an act of revenge as much as duty. And Malcolm Harlan, portrayed with chilling ambiguity by Fishburne, unveils his true agenda. A belief that the serpents represent evolutionary perfection, a species meant to inherit the earth if humanity continues to self-destruct. The horror sequences in Anaconda, Bloodline are crafted with modern cinematic techniques, blending practical effects and cutting-edge CGI to create serpents that feel terrifyingly real. From claustrophobic attacks inside narrow caves to explosive showdowns on the river at night, the action is relentless. One standout sequence involves the group being ambushed while crossing a waterfall basin, where a massive anaconda coils around their boat in a breathtakingly intense moment. Another features Eleanor navigating an underground chamber filled with eggs, where the sound of hatching reverberates through the stone walls, leading to a heart-stopping escape. These set pieces are not just about spectacle, but also about psychological horror, reminding audiences that the true terror comes not only from the creatures themselves, but from the inevitability of nature reclaiming dominance. As the story builds toward its climax, the narrative introduces the concept of the bloodline itself, a primordial serpent, larger than any ever recorded, believed to be the matriarch of the entire species. This ancient monster becomes the ultimate antagonist, representing both the origin and the future of the Anaconda race. The final battle pits the surviving members of the team against this colossal creature in the ruins of the temple, where fire, flooding, and collapsing structures create an apocalyptic setting. The ending is both shocking and thought-provoking, as Eleanor makes a fateful choice to destroy the temple and its secrets, sacrificing her career, and potentially her life, to ensure that the serpents remain part of nature's untamed mystery, rather than tools for human exploitation. The conclusion leaves the door open for future installments, while delivering a satisfying payoff to the immediate story. The release of Anaconda, Bloodline is scheduled for summer 2026, strategically positioned as a major theatrical event in the blockbuster season. The studio behind the film has emphasized its commitment to practical effects, large-scale set pieces, and an immersive sound design meant to heighten the fear factor in theaters. Early promotional material hints at a darker tone compared to earlier entries, with marketing focusing on the tagline, "The jungle remembers its predators." This signals a shift from campy monster thrills toward a more atmospheric, survival horror experience that appeals to both nostalgic fans and a new generation of audiences. The trailer for Anaconda, Bloodline, is a masterclass in suspenseful marketing. It opens with serene shots of the river at dawn, overlaid with Eleanor's voice recounting her brother's disappearance. The calm is shattered by quick flashes of overturned boats, screams in the night, and the briefest glimpses of massive scales moving beneath the water. The packing escalates with intense action shots. Serena firing flares into the darkness, Travis running through the jungle as branches snap behind him, and Marco diving into the river to escape an unseen predator. The final moments of the trailer deliver the money shot, an enormous serpent's head rising from the depths, its eyes glowing in the dim light, as Eleanor whispers, "It was never just one." The trailer ends abruptly, leaving audiences with a sense of dread and anticipation, perfectly designed to spark conversation and speculation. What makes this film particularly significant is the way it bridges legacy and innovation. It respects the core elements that made the original a cult favorite: claustrophobic tension, human greed colliding with nature, and terrifying creatures lurking where humans should never tread, while pushing the concept into modern cinematic territory with deeper themes, stronger characters, and more ambitious world building. Fans of the franchise will recognize familiar motifs, but newcomers will find a standalone story that doesn't rely on prior knowledge. It's a film crafted to terrify, thrill, and ultimately remind viewers of the fragile balance between humanity and the natural world. Anaconda, Bloodline 2026, is not just another monster movie. It is a cautionary tale wrapped in high-octane survival horror, a cinematic event that challenges its characters and audience to confront the limits of human control. With its star-studded cast, gripping narrative, and jaw-dropping visuals, it promises to reignite the Anaconda franchise for a new era. By the time the credits roll, audiences will not only be left breathless, but also haunted by the chilling possibility that in the most remote corners of the earth, ancient predators still wait for the right moment to strike.